Okay, and we're back. And there has to be, um, I know the economy and everything is and deception, but things have to get worse before they get better. It will get better, but we have to give it time, be patient, and be patient with this administration. Have some faith, meaning some patience with put some trust into this administration. Trump can fix it. Trump did it before. We saw it before. He can do it now. We're going to have a golden economy by the end of this administration. I can most likely guarantee it. Um, because we've seen it before. And if we didn't have lockdowns in 2020, our economy would have been, and we didn't let Joe Biden, our economy, if we didn't have lockdowns and we didn't have the other issues, would be on top of it. So that's how good the first term was, and that's how we can be now. But we have to take these steps and take these actions. I know it's hard and rough and disruption, but it will get better. You know, it got better before. It will get better now. He can fix it. He's a businessman. He's a smart businessman, a real estate person. I think he knows what he's doing, and he has a good cabinet and a good team. And another thing that they complained about on the first week, the first day, the first witch hunt was the egg prices. The egg prices. Now, guess what? The egg prices were through the roof under Biden, and no Democrats and no person complained about it, had an issue with it. And now all of a sudden we're having some issues with it, and now egg prices have gone down thanks to the Department of Agriculture. Um, but um, but they made a big deal about it, and it was their first big thing. It's ridiculous. But when they had but eggs were through the roof under Biden, and no one said anything about it, no one complained about it. The Democrats didn't, at least. But all of a sudden, we have a Republican in there, and it's a big deal. Just like with the inflation, and just like the stock market issue. It was hot. They had stock market issues big time. We had a recession during Biden, I think. Now, technically not. They didn't call it, but I felt like we were. But he kept it hidden. They kept it hidden. They didn't complain. It wasn't a big deal. And by the way, the prices of eggs have gone down, and they're still going down, and they'll be good. But we also had other factors that Trump had no control over, which was bird flu, that no one had control over. Trump can't help that bird flu came in, and that caused disruption to the egg prices. That's not his fault. That happened during the Biden administration. So I want to shut that down too. Anyway, but we will have a strong economy. We had one before. We're going to have one again. We just have to be patient and put some trust into this administration. But trust God first, that's important. But we have to put some faith in our nation too while we're living on this earth. But we have to have some hope and some positivity. And I have hope. I'm optimistic. And we're resilient people. We're strong people. So, anyway, that's out of the way. And then the next thing, I'm just tired of hearing that that Trump's a racist and a fascist and a Nazi and his administration is. That's ridiculous. And that needs to end too. And that's false information and not true. And I have some counter things to say about that. If he was a racist, why would want to have a national park honoring great, strong, resilient, powerful Black Americans like Rosa Parks and Harriet Tubman that did great things for our nation, and Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King Jr. and other great and Prince and other great influential and great strong powerful Black Americans. If he was racist, why would he want to create a national park honoring those people? How about that? He tried making that national park in the first term. It didn't work out for some reason, and he's trying it again, and it's going to work out, I believe, this time. And why if he was racist, why in the first term would he have why would he lower unemployment for the Black community? Why would he create justice reform with the First Step Act, which Democrats, look at what the First Step Act was, because I don't think they ever cared to look at anything that he does. And, if he was racist, why would he do stuff like that? And another thing, in 2020, when the riots were going on, and Republicans and Trump endorsed a bill called the Justice Act, which was police reform and reform on the criminal justice system that Trump supported. It was a bill done by the first Republican Black senator, Tim Scott. He was a great, strong man, and he ran for president and everything. Anyway, and it was called the Justice Act. It was police reform to stop police brutality. And the Democrats in the House, Nancy Pelosi, this was back in 2020. No Democrats supported it, and it didn't pass, so it couldn't become law. So, so I just want to point that out. And that Justice Act, which I hopefully will come to fruition again, and hopefully does get passed, would help the Black community mostly and stop police, we were trying to stop race things. So, but the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi didn't want to pass the Justice Act, so it couldn't be signed into law. So Trump supported the Justice Act. Republicans supported the Republican Senate at the time passed it. The House didn't want to pass it because it was Democrat control. So, look at the Justice Act. It was a great act. Anyway, great law. Well, not all. It never became law because the Democrats blocked it. But see how they are. So, anyway, look up the First Step Act. Look at all this. So, I'm tired of hearing that he's a racist. And because in the past 2 election cycles, his Black support has grown. The Mexican, Latino American support has grown overwhelmingly, especially Latino men, in this past election. So, anyway, and he is not a Nazi. If he was a Nazi, why would he support Israel and Jewish people in Israel right now that are facing death and war by evil hostages and Hamas terrorist group? So if he was a Nazi, why would he support Israel? He wouldn't support Israel in their battle right now, which is going to come to an end, and we will have peace for Israel, and we'll have peace for Palestine too, and with Russia and Ukraine, we'll have, which there was some breaking news today about that, but that will be peace. We'll have a peace agreement there, hopefully. But by the end of this by the end of this administration. But I'm tired of hearing that he's a Nazi. He supports Jewish people. If he was a Nazi, he wouldn't support Israel. And I think maybe the Democrats are because they support Hamas. They support people that are against Jewish people. So I don't know what they're talking about. And but that's been their talking point forever. Racist, fascist, and I'm tired of hearing it. So they're going to keep doing it. And I guess they have the freedom of speech to do it, but it's not the truth. So, um, that's another thing. And that's the division that they're doing. And anyway, and then it just is this. Anyway, I want to talk about the Ukraine and Russia and the wars going on. And one thing that, and they said that he didn't support Hamas, that he was going to ruin Gaza. He wasn't going to support Gaza. He supports Gaza too. He actually wants to rebuild Gaza, and they rebuild Gaza and help provide peace and prosperity for Palestine and Gaza, wherever. He wants to help rebuild Gaza, and he wants to help rebuild both Gaza and Israel, especially Israel, but because that's the Christian nation, and he supports Christianity. But he wants to provide peace for both Israel and Gaza, Palestine. I'm not totally for sure what it is, and he wants to rebuild it. That's one of the things, part of the deal that he's trying to do. And when he said that he wanted to help rebuild Gaza and have peace for Gaza and peace for Palestine, and the Democrats freaked out about that. So I don't know what side they're fully on. I don't see the problem with rebuilding and providing peace for Gaza and providing peace for Israel and rebuilding it. I don't know what. And the Democrats used to be all about protesting against war, but all of a sudden they're supporting war. I don't get why. And with the Ukraine and Russia, he wants peace for Ukraine, and he wants peace for Russia. And a key breaking news today that Ukraine finally agreed to the deal that they made, which is great to get one more step closer to ending that war, which is great. And Trump, he's anti-war. He wants peace for our nation, for all the nations, and I don't know why Democrats want to continue ongoing wars. And I don't know why they don't want peace and love, and why not? So, but he wants to stop the war. He wants to stop the death and the disruption and disruption and destruction of Israel, Ukraine, Russia, and Gaza. He wants to have peace with all of it. He wants to stop the war. He wants to stop the fighting. He wants to stop the death and destruction of all four places that's going on right now. So, and I don't know what the problem of him wanting to rebuild these places, help these places, want peace and prosperity for these places. I don't know why they're so offended of him wanting to end this war. All the wars going on currently, I don't know why they're offended by that. So I think anything that he would do that's good, no matter what he does, they're going to be offended with it. No matter what, even if he finds a cure to cancer, and he could, you never know, they're still going to be offended by it. And another thing that I want to talk more about, division. I hate to talk about it. I want to talk about peace and prosperity, and anyway, but that's what the Democrats are doing, is division. During the State of the Union, they were totally not respectful to the president. And I don't care who the president is. We need to be respectful, and they don't have to clap for anything. But when Trump is honoring military veterans and um, people that did good things in their communities, when they're being honored, I don't care if they don't clap for Trump, but they need to, the Democrats should have clapped for the people that he was honoring during the State of the Union. And there's been two Democrats that condemned what the other Democrats were doing, and two Democrats did stand up when people were being honored, veterans that were being honored, first responders that were being honored, a boy with cancer, for goodness sakes, that was being honored, um, DJ Daniels. Um, that was but different people being honored at that speech. They should at least stood up for those people. They didn't have to stand up for or crap at all for anything that he was saying. They could disagree with it. So what? But they should have stood up when the veterans and other people were being honored by Trump. They should have showed respect for those people, at least. At least if they're going to do anything, if they're just going to sit around and hold up their protest signs, which I guess they have a right to do. We did it too, but at least when Biden was honoring people and speaking about people, our side, the Republicans, stood up for people that he was honoring and clapped for them. I don't know why they can't do the same for us. And what really offended me about when they didn't stand up and clap for when they were being honored was that boy with cancer that survived cancer. That really was despicable, and evil for the Democrat Party to not stand up for that boy when he was being honored for surviving cancer, for supporting police, for being an honorary Secret Service member, as he should. They should have at least clapped for that boy and stood up for that boy. That was evil. That really turned me off. And I used to be, people don't know this, I used to be I used to be a liberal. I hate to say. And I think the Democrat Party left me, They went too far left and too far gone. And they're out of touch of reality. So, that's why I left. I saw their true colors during the lockdown, and I decided to support Republicans, and I'm glad I did. But that was just evil when they couldn't stand up for veterans. They couldn't stand up and honor that boy that survived brain cancer. I thought that was despicable and evil and messed up. And I don't care if they don't agree with what he does, what he says, but they should have stood up for people that were being honored that day. Anyway, I was tired of this division. That's all. Anyway, another thing I want to talk about is now I'm going to talk about this border. I think it's so crazy that they're offended by people that are not citizens of this nation being deported and not able to cross the border. I'm glad that our border is being secure. That's one big success so far. The first 100 days of this administration is we're cutting, and it's a new statistic today says that 99.9% of illegal immigration has stopped or decreased. So that's amazing right there. But they made a big deal about it, and People need to come here the right way. Trump does not. We don't have an issue with people coming here the right way. We want people to come here the right way. Um, it's nothing against the teen of me Mexican American, Mexicans. The thing is, they have to come here the right way and be properly vetted. It's a safety thing, and they have, and people that have came in during the last administration, they have murdered people like Aikman Wiley, who they can't even stand up and respect either, and other crimes and offenses they have committed, and those people were deported first. That came in illegally, but also committed a crime here. I think that's not good. And we're not stopping people. The law is not to, or those policies are not to stop people from coming in here. It's not a racist thing, it's a security thing, it's a safety thing. And we had people dying from drugs, they were bringing drugs in here, they were committing murder and committing crimes. It was dangerous during the last 4 years, and we're stopping it. And as we should. And other nations have borders, and other nations have things where you can't enter without doing the proper thing, the right thing to get in here. We want, but what's the problem with us having secure borders, illegal immigration, wanting and supporting legal immigration? And we're not stopping people from coming in here. They just have to come here the right process, the right way. I just think it's crazy. But I'm happy that 99.9% illegal immigration is down. 99.9%. That's great. And hopefully it stays like that. It should. Because our nation needs to be safety first and secure. And I can't believe Democrats are supporting gang members and MS-13 gang members that are committing crimes and murdering people. I think that's awful to support those people. Saying that there's a father, whoever, he might be, but he made a bad choice. And he should not be here committing crimes and, threatening people. Being a part of a gang like that. That's not good. So that's their, tirade right now. And people from Maryland and people support that might be Democrats that have some common sense to them, support the deportation of that guy. Deportation of that guy that was an MS-13 gang member. Awful. He should be in his own country. He wasn't an American citizen. He was a citizen of El Salvador, and that's where he should be. Especially if he's gone to doing bad activities. That's a safety concern. And the Democrats, I thought, used to be about security and safety, and what happened, I don't know. But it's a safety thing. It's a security. We should have a secure and safe nation, a strong nation, and we are becoming a safe and secure and strong nation once again. And thank God. That's one thing I want to say. Another thing I want to say is that the Democrats are freaking out that they got rid of DEI. DEI is this woke, and I think it's important to have diversity and inclusion in this nation. I think that's great, but people should not be hired based on their race. People need to be hired based on their merit and skills and abilities. Because we don't want somebody who is not trained to fly an airplane or trained to be or have the physical ability to fight in the military, we cannot have them in those jobs if they're not skilled and trained and physically able to do it. And it's nothing against those people, but they're just not. They don't have the skills or training yet to be hired in those positions. So, we do need merit, and we do need people, good, effective, efficient workers in this nation. Not based on race, not based on gender. They made a big deal about it, but it's not really against inclusion or diversity. We think that's great, you know. But we need to make sure that our workers are skilled and know what they're doing, so that operations can run smoothly in this country. One last topic I think I'm going to discuss, I think I've gone through it, most of it, is that everyone freaked out about how that the education department is being dismantled. And I get why some people are concerned, but they shouldn't be. I think it's a great thing that education is going back to the states. I think it's more effective that way, and more creativity can happen, and more innovation can happen if it's on a local level. That's how it should be. I think it runs smoothly, if it's on a state level. And so we can hold our state, since education is mostly state paid anyway, I think we can hold the state more accountable, since more than ever before. So I think that's great, and I think it's great to have school choice and parents' choice for what they want their child's education to look like. And Democrats are freaked out that the funding will be going away. That's just not the case. Other departments, other than the department, this is the plan that other departments will be providing the funding that is still going on. The funding isn't going away. It's not going to be funded Department of Ed no more. It's going to be from the Department of Labor, it's going to be from the Small Business Administration, it's going to be from the Department of Health and Human Services. So that's not going away. So we should not be freaking out about this. I think it makes the government more efficient, and I think it makes things more smooth and more effective. So it should be back into state and local governments. I think it works out better and smoothly that way. Oh, I forgot. I remember what I was going to discuss. I think I remember. Our big issue. Oh, and also, Whoopi Goldberg supports someone like that. Like, all the Democrats are freaking out, but they shouldn't be, because she even supports. She said that she supports education going back to the states. So listen to her. But listen to her any other time. So how about listen to that? But anyway. Oh, and the Democrats are also not educated when it comes to things like healthcare, Social Security, whatnot. They're freaked out that Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security is going to be dismantled and destroyed and gone. That's not the case. That's not the facts. It's not the truth. There's no executive order, no action as of right now to cut back or remove Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid as I know it, to my knowledge. And I don't think they would do such a thing. And I don't think there's such a thing planned or been done already. So that's just a falsehood.